feel like you are a guy who thinks a lot about society and our ills and our, has a long perspective on history. Like doesn't just think about today. Do you think we're getting better as a bunch of weird humans on this planet or worse? There's a lot of, in your music, there's a lot of like worry, there's like, I'm get shot.
Yeah, I'm conscious to know. I know some things. So
yeah.
Are we getting better?
Sometimes I don't know.
We're the same. It's just new ways of doing it.
Yeah, true. True.
Instead of catapults, there's guns, bombs, bazookas. So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Differently.
We're a vicious beast. We just find a different way to do it, I guess.
Yeah.
What do you think? If you could do it, like, what would be the biggest thing that you would address first? Like, here in Nova Scotia. If there's one thing you could, like,
that grinds my gears?
Yeah, that grinds your gears.
Hidden racism.
Yeah. Go in.
I would rather someone tell me they didn't like me for the color of my skin or whatever than to pretend.
Yeah.
So that's me personally.
I know.
People are entitled. You're entitled to not like things or people. That's your choice, But when you show it in your actions, your attitude, then to me it's a problem.
I 100% agree with you, and I think it is one of the biggest problems that we have.
This is like the Canadian Mississippi.
Yes.
To me,
I don't see how. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
I don't see. It makes me when people say, "No, it's not. You're exaggerating." I'm like, listen. How many years ago was it that there was a cross on fire on a lawn in this province? How many? I have more fingers than that many years.
Within 10.
That's what I'm saying. And you're telling me we don't have a problem?
Well,
what I don't like, and it's funny, it's a weird way to put it, but I think you'll get it, is like, you don't see it as much now, I guess, but I'm sure you could find it if you drove through some southern states and find some signs that probably say, like, Scotia, you can't come in here, basically. You certainly did back in the day. And in a way, I find that's like, it's like, okay, I know where you're coming from. And I can just, I can not associate with you and I can be away from you. But here, we're like slimy about it. It's like, no, we got no problem. We got no problem.
No, see,
it's like okay to say we have a problem and we're trying to fix it instead of saying we don't have a problem.
Yeah,
like
for sure. And see the difference between here and other places. Instead of saying you can't come in here, they say,
yeah,
this is gonna be funny. Your shirt's too long.
Yeah, that's right.
You can't. Your shirt's too long.
That's right.
I didn't know you had to have a certain. I don't know.
No, you're right. You're right.
That goes back. I don't know.
Let me hit you with this one.
I took them to human rights at one point, and it was pointless.
Really?
Yeah. Those two clubs, the two main hitters. One that's no longer in business, but
that's good. I went to a club here, and this is how ridiculous things are. I had a baseball hat on, and I was taking it off not because I thought I had to.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't even thinking at all. I'd been having some drinks. I didn't care. I was walking in a place, following people. Wasn't thinking about my hat at all. But I often take my hat off just 'cause. So I was just taking it off, just habit, going in out building.
Yeah.
It's weird to say that right now. Well, I have a hat on, but usually I take a hat off inside. So I was just taking it off, and this bouncer guy tapped me. He goes, like, "Man, you can wear your hat in here." And I was like, "Okay." So I put it on backwards. Just because it's the way I was holding it, just put it on backwards. He's like, no, not like that. I was like, why not? And he goes, it's too gangster. I was like, what the hell world? And you know what it's all targeted at? Yeah. It's all like coded way of saying, I don't want to see black dudes, I guess.
Well,
but that's kind of weird because like,
I gotta tell just
not everybody. It's stereotype to say everybody dresses like that or whatever. Obviously no, but. Yeah. That's what it's targeted at.
I have one. I have plenty of stories, but just this one. I really don't want to say no names, but everybody knows which club is which. So I'm going in with a linen suit, something you would wear to a wedding reception or something. So I think I'm walking into the club looking like $1 million. Right? I was. And then you can't come in wearing that. I was like, how come?
You're wearing a suit here.
Yeah. How come? Oh well. What you got on? I said, what's wrong with what I got on? They said it's too sporty, and I said,
sporty?
So what sport does it look like I'm getting ready to play right now? Just tell me, I need to know this. You just can't come in. I was like, wow. I think that was the one that pushed me to the edge to take them to human rights, but like I said, pointless. And to be honest, I went to the human rights meeting wearing the same suit just so I could say this is what
I was wearing.
I wasn't allowed in with, and they were like, "So how come you wouldn't let him in with that? He can come to this job, a government job, wearing that." And like I said, it was pointless. So they can try to defend and whatever, but they didn't do anything after that. But I guess what can you do, right? What can you do when you live in a shoe? Sometimes moving to a boot just doesn't work, right?
It's true. I don't know what we do. I think we just like everybody that has a brain in their head and isn't in. I can't say the things I really want to say, but like words wise, but I can definitely get the same idea. I think we got to just make it louder. Everybody, because it's just ruining. It ruins everything for everybody. It ruins everything because we all live here, and when we have to like, all of us have to deal with this ridiculousness. It's just a huge waste of time. And our talent and our community and everything we need to survive, we keep like spread out. And we won't, I feel like we're like, and I think the globe needs to do this, like as a globe and as Canada and as Nova Scotia and as Halifax and as probably every street. But it's like, we need to go to therapy in a way and first admit where we are. Mm-hmm. Like that whole, we're just saying is like, okay, here we are, we're super racist. Let's admit that. We don't want to get comfortable and be like, yeah, that's cool. But just admit that's where we are. Instead of being like, nah, it's not that bad. We're not going to fix anything if we, like, if I come to you and be like, my arm's broken, and you're like, I'm going to fix this little cut on your thumb. It's not going to do it because you're not recognizing the significance of how deep,
we don't have colored people like the whole to come together.
The colored school, the way that was dealt with by the government, like, what are we doing? Like, not having an increase into things like it. We know that works. That truth needs to come to light so that people can heal. And like, when you don't give people that, what are you doing? It was run by the government. It's on your hands. Yeah. You got to fix things, and you don't do it. Dog parks on people's very important. I would say sacred land.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I don't want to put words in mouths, but that to me is a very important part. Even to me as a Nova Scotian. Period. I don't care about what you look like or whatever. I'm a Nova Scotian, and that's an important part of my history, is what went on there and what not to do ever again. And yet we're gonna let dogs crap on it. How does anyone in their right mind think that works okay? I would love to see someone just crap on anyone's grandmother's grave and then be like, how do you feel about that? Feels good? Glad that dog has a place to run. Yeah. Anyone that would, but yet it's black people, so hey, whatever, it's Nova Scotia.
There's a quote, I couldn't tell you from who, I don't remember the name, but from a Nova Scotian that says, they don't know that they don't know.
Yeah.
And people don't, you need to understand, if you go back to things that have been done and they're still doing, you can see that, definitely racism. Like, I don't even know how you can think anything other than that.
Yeah.
But there's not enough people that understand, and there's even not more people that don't care.
I agree. And I think there's other group of people too that are like, it's hard to admit that you have blood on your hands, so to speak, and that you want to be part of like making things better. But like me, like I benefit. I mean, this is sort of like the bigger topic, I suppose, of like white privilege and all this. Mm-hmm. I benefit from that. Do I want to benefit from that? No. I don't think that's fair or cool, but I'd be lying to say I can't. I get different treatment walking down the street. And that's a truth. So it's okay to admit that, like, yeah, I got shit on I'm covered in it. I'm covered in this horribleness. But let's start there, and then we can build away from that. Yeah. But I think a lot of people are like, I don't want to admit that my people have done bad things, or that, like, those people are saying, I'm a good person. It's like, well, then you can admit that there's some bad stuff going on in your name that benefited you and continues to.
And it's not really blood on their hands. You see, the blood on the hands are from the people.
Sometimes I just look at my phone and I feel like, blood on my hands.
This generation is more like blood on your feet.
Ooh.
Because the people, the generations before you, did all the killing and all the stuff, and then they have all the blood on their hands. So then this generation comes along, they're walking through all the blood.
Yeah.
But then they decide that they don't want to walk no more, they want to crawl somewhere. And so now that's how they got the blood on their hand, because they don't want to clean it up.
Exactly.
They'd rather just fall and crawl.
Yeah.
Rather than just...
It's like doubling down on it. It's like we're going to stay tighter instead of like trying to fix that.
Yeah.
And, man. Well, I think part of it is having these conversations. I've always felt that way, is like, if no one is talking about something, and no one really is talking like this about this, at least if one person is, at least one, like somebody's listening, going, I think those guys are totally full of crap.
Yeah, of course.
Good. I mean, that's stirring them up, at least to think about why they might think that way. And people that are agreeing with us, like, get out there and talk about this stuff. Yeah. And I think we also have to always look for, like, our allies where our allies come. Like, don't assume people are certain ways. Like, let them, because I think there's more allies there than we think, and things can be better. But I don't know. I get frustrated, man.
It's hard to debate logic and evidence. It can be debated, but it's hard. So when you can show the evidence that this exists, you can't really debate that. Well, no, it doesn't really exist. Well, it doesn't have to be. I won't even say blind because like I think there's also anybody,
a weird reality that like people feel things too. Like if somebody, if a whole group of people are saying this is how it feels to be us here, that isn't. I don't even care about evidence. That's a reality. Yeah, that's what it feels like to be here. So, I don't know how. I don't know. I'm just sick and tired of living in a place that claims to sort of have this universality of healthcare, this universality of rights, and we just don't have it. Yeah. And not even to talk about our native population, which is like, man, talk about, I mean, the UN's telling us that we've got third world status on pretty much every reserve, and our government just like said, nah, we're not recognizing that. Like, that's where you're doubling down on being a total bigot, basically, in my mind. I'm probably one day going to get fired from this. Or I'm not allowed to talk on here. Talking too much truth. But speaking of which, because we're going out over the air, maybe I want to go to the next one being in the air.
Okay, let's
you got that? How do you feel about that? Weird transition?
Like the last visit here, when I said the stuff I talk about is game. It's everybody can't relate to it, but anyone who understands it can put 2 thumbs up to it.
You're kicking knowledge, are you?
I try every time.
All right. Scotia, kicking knowledge and having like deep. I appreciate your frankness in the conversation as well, man. Yeah, for sure. Always want to get you back. In the air, Scotia, and we're going to talk about again when we think this project is going to be out when we get back. Mm-hmm. Keep it locked. 88.1 coming up soon. KID Wayne Gang.